You have the coolest backdrop award. You win the coolest backdrop award. I feel like you're at a rave and we're only just like invited by Zoom. So it's like, oh, you can like watch me have fun, but as far as you having fun.
I told you I was going to have something special.
I love it. It's very like Halloween-y. It looks great.
Kind of mystic and dark and not the
No, but
typical
does your shirt light up? Like, does it light up?
I think it does. It's a scary.
Well, a hot dog. That's amazing.
It's a spooky shirt.
Ooh, that is spooky. Wow. That's like nightmare fuel right there.
Yeah, it's fun stuff tonight.
Right. That's right.
Hello, Peg Herman.
Hi, Peg. I'm glad you found us. That's good.
She found us. Hey, Peg. So I will tell you, you had something cool the other night, right? Just a night or so ago.
What was that? What did I do?
Lindia Johns, you had a birthday.
Oh my God, I loved meeting her. I loved meeting her. And she is doing such a cool road trip right now. And it's her birthday. And I'm so excited.
She's a cool chick. Like, she's going to be at the Warrens coming up. So she's going to be there.
Can I tell you something that it's probably bad that I'm telling you this, but there's like an obnoxious amount of stuff that I plan to bring to the Warrens Paracon this weekend.
Okay.
Like, there's fun stuff that's like theme stuff because it's Halloween weekend. There's clothing, there's show stuff, there's stuff that I just want to give away. But I mean, I'm not sure. I mean, I may need a second vehicle. I mean, probably not, but I feel like the quantity of stuff that I'm going to bring this weekend is crazy.
Just look at what you think you may need. I mean,
but needs and wants, two different things.
Because there's John and Andy and Peg, so lots of stuff. So, folks, this weekend is it. We have talked about it. We have had guests on the show. We have a really big rock show happens this weekend, right? The Warrens Seekers of the Supernatural Paracon goes down this weekend. Like mega, probably close to totally sold out.
Well, I was going to say they're sold out Saturday and Sunday.
And the VIP parties, this is going to be off the chain. It's going to be really fun. Lots of people there doing their thing. Super fun. Probably one of the hottest tickets in town coming up, no doubt.
Yeah.
Because
I'm excited for the VIP party to actually get to meet the people, some of the people that we've had on here or like friends of ours that we weren't able to get on, but we'll kind of.
It's gonna.
Yeah. I think we should tell people maybe at the end what we plan to do.
Yeah, we can do that.
I don't think we should tell them yet.
No, there's some stuff, right? We got to do that. So, so from my end, folks, I don't know if you saw some of my stuff. So just got back, had a really cool Vulture City Paracon.
I know, that's so exciting.
That was year 2 for me, year 2. If you saw the pictures, lots of very cool rock stars there. So many, I'd probably forget them if I named them all. I did get to hang out with my buddy, Mike Rinsecker, who I tell you I love like a brother. Such a smart guy. The Alaska Triangle show, Travel Channel, smart guy, very super intelligent in the paranormal, very much respected. We got to investigate together in the blacksmith shop, and it really was off the chain. Had so much activity. First time I've been cussed out by a ghost in a very long time.
Really?
But super active. Like somebody said, did you see that? Of course, I didn't get this hit. Well, so we had shadow play. We had K2 that was going off my EDIs. We had EVPs. I mean, it was a who's who, and it was really just that good. And I was like, wow. I was like, did you hear that? Did you see that? Listen when I caught. Wow, it was like back and forth. That's a really hotbed in that area. So we had a ball. Listen, when they do that again next year, go be a rock star. Go to it, do it. If you haven't been, you should go because it seems to get better every year. Looks like
I
Tim
have a
Cummings in
question.
the show. Yes.
When you're investigating, sorry, we have to get to our guests, but I have a question about this. Did you see any rattlesnakes?
So rattlesnakes out there, typically during the daytime heat, will heat
Okay.
up to live because they have a very slow metabolism and their heart
Sure.
rate.
Mhm.
But then that's it after that. They go and that's about it. So
Okay.
not so bad. They look
Okay.
out for them around there, or that they keep them in check. But yeah, it was a blast. But no, it was okay. It's safe.
Okay.
So
All right. Sounds good. But
another very
I'm so like stoked for our guest tonight because
yeah.
we've been friends on Facebook for a while and like joke back and forth, and I just couldn't wait to talk to him.
I
So
know.
I'm so looking forward to actually
Well,
talking.
this guy's amazing, and I'm gonna give one more shout out before we go to him because it's so if you haven't seen our post so far, folks, it's Brad Cooney's birthday. Everybody loves Brad and the Paranormal. Brad Cooney. Listen, folks, on this show, if it's your birthday, we're gonna give you a shout out. If it's Flips, if it's Tim's, if it's John's, if it's John, if it's Andy's or Peg's, it's your birthday, you're getting a shout out because we're loving kind of folks that way. You're
Well,
all
and I
family.
almost wore my Coffee Then Ghost shirt from Dead Is Not the End from Flip's company. I almost wore that for Brad tonight, but I sent him a coffee message instead for his birthday.
Coffee messages here. It was later.
Message buddies, yeah.
So to our guest tonight.
Oh my gosh, so excited!
Listen. I'm this guy. All right, this guy. I was on his show a while back. I don't know if you got the chance to see it, but we had a blast because we just did we're throwing down the tables, we're going knuckles, and the show was about kindness. And both me and Tim feel the same way. Listen, if you got room in this world to be kind, we got love for you. If you're somebody that's treating other people unkind, and if anything, if you think that you're better than someone else in this world, that's not kind. We don't have room for that. So that's the deal. But we had a ball on his show. This guy has got something very cool with the Black Cat Saloon, the Black Cat
Lounge, yeah,
Black Cat Lounge Saloon, the lounge. Cool. This guy is a cool and cosmic, all around groovy kind of dude. I don't care where you go. If you go up north, they know the guy. You go somewhere in the Midwest, oh, I know the guy. It's wonderful. And listen, the fun thing about him is his humor. He just keeps you enthralled with laughing. But I will tell you, folks, we are really fun to get to have on the show prior to Halloween.
That's right.
A man that is loved by millions and questioned by a few. Ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only Mr. Timothy Shaw.
We might as well just stop now because I can't beat. There's nothing I can say the rest of the night that's going to beat that intro.
I know it's very hard to do.
Oh my god! And he lies a lot too. That's the other thing. He does. He lies a lot. It's amazing. Thank you for that introduction. I mean, wait a minute. I have to hold my head down. My head was starting to get so big. I was starting to go and raise like a helium balloon
here already. Tim, I love you, Tim. Hey, Tim. Yeah, can you not love Tim? He's like, they give us a hug. Give us a hug. I literally, I see him. I walked away one day. I walked up. I found myself crying. I was like, sometimes that Tim Shaw hug is that, hey, it's okay. Come here, bring it in. And he just, and he's like, come here, let's talk it out.
That's the way it is.
This is a guy that you were, when you call, I call it a Tim Shaw moment. Tim, can I talk? Give us a call. And he lets you know, but he brings this experience about, look, I've been there, Keith. I've been through that. I understand. And when you get to love and respect people in this field, those are those top level people you go to. Your Tim Shaws, your.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Really. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you for doing what you do with us in the paranormal. So
Yeah.
we are so happy to
That's
be on
only
the show.
listen, I'm still doing it only because I did it for so many years. What else am I going to do? Collect stamps? Seriously. Where am I going to go? What am I going to walk up and down the street with a cart and collect bottles? That's all I got left. This is it.
Hey,
Aw.
oh my goodness. Well,
Um, well, we're glad you're here.
Well, give us a little bit about yourself, Tim. I mean, we talk and we do the things, but circa go back. Tim Shaw finds himself one day thinking about something in the paranormal. So give us a little rundown because it's such a fun wind back in history. It's really fun.
You know what? I never wanted to really be in the paranormal. I'll come right out and admit it. That's not anything I wanted to be. And like as a medium and stuff, I never wanted to be a medium. Never. That just happened. I was introduced into the Lilydale Assembly, which is a spiritualist conclave here in Western New York, about a mile square, and you have to be part of a spiritualist church to live there. And I was introduced there like 1972, which is like amazing when I think about it. I was probably 9 or 10 years old at the time, and it just stuck. I was a Roman. I was brought up as a Roman Catholic. I'm a good an Irish Scottish boy that went to a Polish parochial school. So you będzie pochwalony with Christos. I still remember a lot of the Polish that I was taught that. But during the summer, we would spend a lot of time down in Lilydale, and the spiritualist religion's been in my family since the 1880s.
God.
So I mean, it's like, to me, even as a kid, I remember my father, because it was the religion of my father. And I remember my father talking about it a lot. And we'd go down there to visit relatives. And to be honest with you, I know that, if you take a good look at me, it's, you would know that I'm a demure, quiet man. And it all stemmed from being a quiet, demure little boy. Wrong. We go out there, and like on weekends and stuff during the season, like they have season from like halfway through June till like Labor Day. And, all these people come in, they have classes and all this stuff. It's like, it's like metaphysics on acid sometimes when you go down there. It's kind of cool. And they got all sorts of stuff going on. They got open readings and meditations and healings and stuff. But we used to go and ride our bicycles right into like groups of like tourists. We call them tourists. People would come in for classes. We'd be taking these bicycles and jumping into the lake, Lake Casadega. And, so they enrolled us basically in Lyceum, which is Sunday school. And I'll be honest with you, that really struck a chord because I'm not big into the history because I know enough about the golden age of spiritualism that kind of fell into the golden age of spiritualist fraud back when I was a kid, back in the 60s, 70s, 50s. I was exposed to like the billet readers and all the cold readers and all that other stuff. So, I got a chance to really see some neat stuff though during Lyceum, because at that time, I don't know how they do it now, but at that time they used to prepare you to see like an experience phenomena. So I think I went to my first children's seance, probably, 10 years old, 11 years, somewhere on there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's done in the afternoon. It's done in the daytime. There's lights. And, you start seeing like shadows and you start seeing all this stuff. And they gradually build you up so that you're not freaked out when you like the physical phenomena. Like I always told Keith, I said, right now, at this time, at this point in my life, a spirit has to come in, drop kick me in the ass, and shake me to really get me to pay attention, and that's the way it is. People have to, we're kind of trained like that. But although I will say I hate things that just kind of pop out at me. I'm not a thrill seeker. And a funny story, when COVID hit, one of the guys that I know rented out Wildwood Sanitarium, which is a cool old Victorian house in Salamanca, New York. So we're all going to do solos, and we're, it sucked because we're all like huggers, every one of us is 260 and up, 6 foot and up, and we're all huggers, and you can't hug, we're all being careful. And this is the beginning of COVID. So we didn't really know what was going on. So we had decided that we were going to bring back our, different shows, and we were going to jump on to share to get people to stop thinking so negatively and, hopefully get their mind off of just how lousy shit was at that time.
Right.
So I'm over there and, so we're all going to do solos. It's a televised solo. So they give you this, they give you your little camera and stuff. So we're all, and you can go anywhere in the house. There's 3 floors and a basement. So, I know that the second floor, they use it for like seances and stuff. And I said, I'm going to go up there. That's going to be cool. I got a calling for that. So I went up there, and the last thing they said to me was, Tim, watch the F-bombs. Just watch the F-bombs. I get up there. I, get up the stairs, and I'm like, get around this corner. And if there was not a shadow person fully formed with a hat on, walked into, well, not only did I lose, I had to change my underwear at that point. And, and I did drop a couple F-bombs because I was like, I did not expect that. But, it's not like it scares me.
Yeah.
It really, I was thrilled by it, but I wasn't expecting it. And then I had set up one of those, I had bought a music box because during COVID, what else do you do but go on the internet and buy things.
Right. Yeah.
So I actually bought one of the music boxes, and that thing was going off almost on command. It was in real time. It was amazing. So, a lot of that training came from when I was a kid. And I probably followed. I was probably one of the youngest guys that got invited to do rescue circles, spiritualist rescue circles, which is like ghost hunting now, and like cleansing houses and trying to convince the spirits to move onward, in whatever terms you could do. And so I never really thought anything of it. I thought it was kind of normal, I couldn't wait. Funny story. So I think I'm in 7th or 8th grade. I think I was in 8th grade. So I'm at St. Andrew's School in Sloan, New York, and the kindly nun, asked us to write what we did on our summer vacation. So, a la like Ralphie in the Christmas Story, I wrote this masterpiece about what I did at Lilydale and the children's seance and doing this. And I got messages from my great grandfather and this and this and this, So needless to say, everybody's getting their essays back, and I get a little envelope that says Mr. and Mrs. Shaw. It was a conference.
Yeah. So
my parents went there, and my father explained to her, hey, listen, that's the religion of my family. So don't start this. Don't start anything. And she goes, well, okay, that's fine. But would you please tell Tim not to go and talk a lot about it? So my father goes, will you shut the hell up? What's wrong with you? Just get the hell out of the school and go to public high school already, And of course, the next day I went there, I was told everybody that would listen to me all about it.
Wow.
So, that's the way it was. But I stopped probably when I was about 18. 19, sex, drugs, and rock and roll and that sort of stuff. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was a bouncer in a discotheque for years. It was disco, okay? It was disco. That's why I blame everything on now. It was disco, okay? But I was a bouncer, and and I'd done a lot of small, crazy jobs and stuff, and I had left everything behind me, and I still had an interest in it, but I had left everything behind me. But I kept it up for years. Just kind of like on the back burner. And it was funny. My wife and I got married, met at a disco. That's how old we are now. And hey, I can still do the hustle. Listen, Keith, I can still do the damn hustle.
I feel like we have to do that with Keith's lights right now.
Yeah, I'm looking at that going, I remember those days.
Yeah.
It was disco. We won't go. We won't go
That's
into.
great.
We won't go into coffin hijinks. Someday on the X-rated show we will, but not now. But
when is that date?
Oh, Kelly.
I think there's a Super 8 still around someplace, but I'm not sure.
I'm automatically free that day for whatever show that is.
We don't want to know. But I mean, it was funny because I mean, I had seen people in our hotel room in the Bahamas, and that freaked her out. And her whole thing was, I always knew that you were into this stuff, and she didn't use stuff, of course, but she, I always knew you were into this stuff, but I never knew how deep. And after that, I started coming back into it a little bit more, and I joined a church, a spiritualist church, and I served the podium for quite a number of years. And basically, I'll be honest with you, the dogma, I'm not a dogma guy. I'm not an organized religion guy. I'm a spiritual guy. I believe in spirituality. I believe in, letting it take you wherever you want to go, enjoying it, for what it is, not having something shoved down your throat and have somebody else tell you what's right or wrong. You should go out there and find it for yourself. And so we, inevitably, the big kids on the block were starting to butt heads. And I left, and I had became an associate pastor of another church. And eventually I had left that church, and I just I'll be honest with you, I just started being an independent, and I got a chance to serve all sorts of great churches. And that's when I started getting involved with radio. And we had, I don't even know, there was these two crazy brothers from Kentucky, from Para X, that I used to listen to their podcasts, and then I'd look them up and listen to them live. So I'd be one of those guys that I'd be in the chat room, like you guys are, like, asking questions and stuff. And they said, "Listen, you seem to know what you're doing. We got like 5 shows. You want to be the 6th show, and you don't have to pay anything." I said, "Fine." So I jumped on. I not right away, but I mean, I took the opportunity, and from there we went to CBS Radio.
Nice.
And we were there for a number of years. We were in 5 big terrestrial markets, huge by Boston and Washington, D.C. And I mean, holy cow, who wants to listen? Who wants to listen to this kid from Western New York? But we did okay.
Lots of people, Tim. Lots of people.
There's a lot of strange people out there. Believe me, I run into them all the time. They're all friends of mine.
I was gonna say, yes, but, everyone's friendly.
But then we decided it was starting to cost money. Where I spent more time trying to sell airtime than it was worth it for that hour. So I took everything internet. And that was the big thing. Everything was going internet. And I just stayed on there. And I was there for about 12, 13 years.
Wow. And
along the way, I was lucky because I got picked up for, some network shows here and there, and did a few pilots here and there. And, I got a chance to meet some cool people. And I started going and taking my show to, like, a lot, like you guys, take the show to all these different conferences and get all the, get some great, sound bites and stuff.
Sure.
So it just sort of grew from there. And I would say the last few years when I was working in a real job, that's what I'm going to say. And because Keith knows exactly where I'm going with this.
A real job.
But yeah, for the last few years of being working at a real job, I really started consolidating a lot of stuff. And I started really hitting the conferences and getting invited. And I think it was because I was so multifaceted. I wasn't just I got picked up just at the right time when you were either all metaphysical or all paranormal, and you didn't meet in the middle. And I was lucky because I was fascinated by tech. Fascinated. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't use anything, to get myself out of a paper bag. But I was so fascinated by it. And ITC and everything was just starting to come out, and it was just like, oh my God, Frank Sumption was, he was out there working with the boxes, and it started really getting so amazing to me. And then next thing I know, because I had worked the other side of the fence, the spiritualist side and everything, I started getting picked up for it. And luckily I got picked up. My first big event was Michigan Paracon. And I still do gallery there, but the last
I was going to say you were just there, right?
Yeah, I was just up there in August, and I actually didn't do gallery. I did a workshop on seance, which was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But I had my very first gallery. I had one person show up for it. And I said, I'll never be able to show my face here again. But
Aw.
the next day I think I had like 25 or 30 people in there, and I've
Nice.
sold out since that year. I've sold out every year. But there's a method to my madness. Keith, you always put this in the back of your mind. People like to get stuff free. They love it.
Mm-hmm.
So what I do is when I'm speaking, when I'm doing gallery, when I start seeing people starting to drift, I wail candy at them.
Oh,
I wail handfuls of candy at them.
Just chuck candy at the back of the room.
Listen, I can bounce candy off the ceiling and hit the last row. That's how good I am at that.
Fantastic. I love this idea. Love it.
But it worked great. And then like a lot of times I make them, I do like a lot of the old spiritual stuff, like raise the vibrations through singing and laughing and all that stuff. And I'm the king of really bad, corny, paranormal jokes.
Oh, come on.
Listen, I can give Keith a run for his money there. But I'll make people sing like when the saints come marching in.
Oh, and the saints. Oh,
come marching in.
Marching in. Oh,
but I'll throw beads, we'll have little Mardi Gras celebrations and that sort of stuff. And that's what's fun about it. You got to make this stuff fun, because as someone who came up through the churches, it was like, and forgive me for saying this, but a lot of times these well-meaning people have duct tape on their butt. They really do. And oh, come on. You guys know exactly what I'm talking about. They take themselves so serious, and they take everything serious. And yes, spiritualism and mediumship should all be taken seriously. Divination should be all taken seriously. However, there's a time and a place, and it can't be all serious. And right. I'm one of those people that I would rather laugh and be able to go and do good work. And it's easier. And I'm going to be honest with you, I'm a lazy medium, because, the higher the vibration, the easier it is for me to read people. So it's like, I don't want to bother you. I'm not going to work hard. Are you crazy? What are you, crazy? No way. I'm retired. I'm not going to work hard no more. But, I've been blessed, because I've been fortunate. I got right place, right time, and right skill set. That's the best way I can describe it. Plus, on top of it, everything else, as you can tell, I'm a fossil within a fossil here. We are really blessed. So we have some very, very cool people here, Tim, that we have with us all the time. Robin is one of our very sweet people. Of course, Bob as well. Mike Gates is here. My friend Gary, let me tell you a little bit about Gary. Gary is another very hardworking guy out there. Film, locations, evidence. Him and Tristan work together very, very hard, and Buster tails out there getting great evidence. I look forward in the very near future to get the opportunity to. Anyway, that's going to be something hopefully in the very near future, get a chance to visit with them. So, Tim, one of the things that, as we speak about, in the paranormal and you go into these shows, do you ever find it that from those actual visits with people, that people come up to you and have cases, or they come up and say, hey, I've got something going on. I'm coming to you for help because actually I've got something going on in my home. Have you ever had that? Oh yeah, all the time. I'll be honest with you, I've had to slow down though, because I get so much of it, and I started networking out with some really good people, where I can trusted people, where if I feel that it's really something, that can be taken care of by them, I make sure that I'll pass it to them, because I've had to turn down this month probably at least 4 cases right now, because I just don't have the time. I just seriously don't have the time. Plus the physical toll it takes when you start working with something negative. really will weigh down on you. And something that I don't like to do, and the reason I don't like doing this is because you never know what people have done before you, is do cleanup after somebody else that have walked in and they're well-meaning and they know some of the basics. They really don't know like what to do if they get into trouble. Never really mentored under anybody or studying anybody. They go in there and they light sage or whatever, and they leave and things amp up unbelievably. I never like to do that if I can at all help it, because of the fact that you got to let everything settle down for a while. I don't want to walk into something that's really, I'm not going to be able to help. And so that's why I'll go and I'll just, these people I have to put on a shelf and say, listen, okay, I'll give you some instruction here and now how to help, but I can't be boots on the ground. I mean, back in the day, I mean, we would go, drive 3, 4, 5 hours. And I remember one case, I think it was like about 4 hours. We're coming home, and 4 hours later or 2 hours into the trip home, they're calling like the place is blowing up again. Turn around, go back, and nothing's going on. I mean, so yes, we do know how that works. And then you do whatever you have to do and then come back. And then again, it just gets to that point where you really have to really care about yourself.
Right.
Because you're not going to be able to help anybody if you're not 100%. The late Father Malachi Martin, in his book, his work, Hostage to the Devil, which is a seminal book for anybody that's interested in demonology or working with anything negative, he says that working in this field shortens an exorcist's life. I've talked to people like Johnny Zaffis and other people who have worked in this field really hardcore for a long time. And yeah, I mean, it really, really does. It's caused different physical ailments. I believe what I've had a lot of surgery, and be honest with you, I feel that this is something that was aggravated by working with all the negative stuff. So I have to use my own head with this. I can't go and jump on everything. But with the important part about it is the fact that you have to know your limitations, and you have to know when and how to work with these different things that are going on. And then you have to know when and have the right people around you. Surround yourself with non-toxic, well-meaning, just spiritual people. And if you have to be able to go and hand it off, you hand it off. Because there's a lot of people out in the paranormal now that won't hand off. It's like, well, we got this place and it's got great EVPs, even though that the people are terrified in this house. Excuse me. Wait a minute. Boom. Oh, no, we won't hand off yet. No, I got to get a couple more EVPs. And they don't want to give it up. And that's the wrong reason. Listen, I like a great EVP like anybody else, but if you're just doing it to collect evidence, well, then you're not doing a service for that people, and you're doing yourself a disservice. You have to be able to go and be able to know what's what. And I mean, and then I do my own follow-up, which means after a team that I recommend goes into a location and investigates, and they give me their assessment, I still go and I still call the client, and I still make sure that what's going on, how's it happening, what's going on. And if somebody has to go back in there, maybe cleanse the house again, because you guys all know single cleansing. Listen, you know what? If I could go and strip naked, get a fire and dance around it with a dead chicken just to cleanse your house, I would do it for you.
That's what we do with lights. That's what we do with your lights tonight. Why didn't we think of this?
This is it. This is it. But, I mean, if I could just do one thing and just get in there and get the job done and know it's done, fine. But we all know that that's not all the case. Sometimes you have to go back 2, 3, 4, 5 times in order to lessen it, because we know that there's locations that have ancestral hauntings, which means it's generational or it's a long-term haunting. So you've got to be able to be aware that you got to hit it hard the first time, step back, and let it respond to you. It's like dowsing, action and reaction. Let the reaction come back and let's see what happens. We can lessen. Now, the Hinsdale House is a classic example. Hinsdale House in Hinsdale, New York. you had the demonologist Father Alphonsus Trebolt come out there from St. Bonaventure University, one of the nicest guys that, I mean, I would love, if I could go back in time to meet this person, I would do it. Went out to the house. It's a site of a long-term haunting. He did a mass there, everything amped up. He ended up having to go, he kept going up there and helping, the family. They ended up doing a deliverance, an exorcism of the house, the property. And everything really, really lessened. I mean, it lessened. And at the time, this was in the 1970s, and I interviewed Clara Miller back then. She was Clara Dandy. And she said, yeah, it was good for about 3 months, 4 months. Then all of a sudden it just started to build up again. Mm-hmm. So we know that some places we can lessen it to the point of it being almost non-existent. But if you can't extract that battery, whatever powers it, you can't figure that out, it's going to come back. And this is why we have to go and, you have to, I don't mind well-meaning people going out there to help other people, because that's what it's all about. But you got to know what you're doing. You got to kind of talk. You got to know what's, you know what, you can't listen. You can't do a polka. You can't do a polka in a, in a line dance. You know what I mean? It's not going. It's just not conducive to it. Hey, so you have to. Yeah, hey, you're getting it. You're getting it.
Something else with the lights. It's the lights that change.
It's the lights. It's the lights.
Like I'm staring to realize this. I'm feeling.
I am your boogeyman. That's what I am. Come on, Keith.
Right.
I'll need you. Anything I can. Oh, sorry. It was disco. Okay. My brain doesn't work.
We got a question.
Sure. Oh, Peg, how are you?
This is a great question, Peg, because I'm very interested to hear Tim's response on this, because I think it's a really good question.
It's a good question for Tim, because he's experienced or been around enough to do it.
Yep. So Peg asks, have you ever had experiences with people who are addicted to their haunted home or things, like their items?
Yes, it's sort of a sadomasochistic thing. People, they love it. They want that attention sometimes. So a lot of times it's, they will call in. I mean, I have personally known a family that's called in maybe 6 or 8 different teams into their home. And then the best part is when they tell you what you should be doing. That's always fun. That's fun. That's a little red flag right there. That'll tell you that, they may have had a couple more people in there than what they were telling you. But yeah, it gives them an identity, I think. Mm-hmm. And if you hook your identity to something of this nature, well, then you may have a parasitical spirit or addictive spirit or something that's lower than the energies, because I kind of consider everything just energetic, where it's going to go and it's going to feed into their ego, into their personalities. Mm-hmm. It satisfies them, is what it does. Being terrified and being tormented satisfies them in a perverse way. So I've run into people like that. I did a case in Lockport, New York, where a woman was claiming that she had been attacked by an incubus. And I mean, I'm talking her arms black and blue, part of her face is black and blue, and
mm-hmm.
We go in there the first night, nothing. Go back, nothing. We said, listen, can we set up a camera in your kitchen, living room, put some target objects out there. You know what we caught on the camera? Of course, this was a VHS. That's how long ago it was. For those of you who are of the new modern age.
VHS.
VHS, yeah. I still can't program my VHS.
My
very horrible show.
Christmas specials are still on my VHS. So,
but this woman, what she was doing in the middle of the night was getting up and running into her refrigerator.
Mm.
Was running full bore into her refrigerator.
Mm-hmm.
And what she liked was it was almost like attention. And we ended up, and again, this is where it's important to have a large network of people that you can work with, counselors and that sort of thing. Because we showed the tape to her daughter and said, listen, there's nothing in the house. This is what she's doing. Mm-hmm. I don't know if this is something psychological. I don't know if this is drug induced. we did all this basic steps, check the medicine cabinet, but you can't listen. I mean, if you're a pill popper, yourself, you're going to go and you can hide it wherever you want. An alcohol, an addictive person will hide the stuff so you'll never find it. So, we gave her a card of somebody that we worked with, that may be able to help, or at least give them guidance. And then we said, we have to go. We can't do any more of this. So yeah, there's people out there that may be mentally unhinged, but there's also people that really have that identity, that love it. And then of course you have people that live in these houses that, they kind of, they may be ancestral houses where they're used to it. So, once in a while somebody gets scratched, once in a while they see somebody, who cares, So that's a huge thing. Yeah, it's really tough. A lot of times I get referrals for those, and you go out there, you get boots on the ground, and after you do your initial interview, you can kind of understand what they are. I always remember Jay Hawes always telling me, look what kind of books they have on their bookcase, and see what kind of movies they watch, because that's your indication right there. And he is so true. The other thing is that if the house is in disarray, I'm not talking messy, I'm not talking dusty, I'm talking chaotic, I'm talking just crap all over the place, I'm talking the bed looks like it hasn't been made in a year. Look, there's clothing on the floor. Really, do you know what I mean? It's just very, very chaotic. That brings in a lot of negativity. That also becomes oppressive, not only on a spiritual level, but also on a mental level. So you have to, when you find that 9 out of 10 times you have something else that's going on in that house, whether it's an energetic field or a spiritual personality that may be, in there. Because a lot of, when we start talking about energetic personalities, they no longer have a body, but sometimes they like that high. Parasiticals love the high of people fighting and people being scared and all that. Addictive spirits, man, they love that high where the guy is, the guy just snorted a line of coke. Disco, okay, it wasn't addictive back in disco. That's what they used to tell you. But anyway, no, I'm just kidding. But it's something that people don't realize, that you can be subtly influenced by it, and they get their high off of that. So you have to kind of figure out what's going on, where's, and you can pretty much do that in the first 20 minutes, just by observation and by your initial 10 questions, to the client. You can pretty much figure out what's going on, and if there may be an opportunity of a positive outcome. Because a lot of times, I'm going to be totally honest with you, I worked with exorcists before, and I remember one guy telling me, listen, this guy don't want to be saved. This guy likes it.
Yeah.
And I said, what do you mean he likes it? Man, this is, temporal. This is a temporal thing, possession and all that whole thing. And it's like, he likes it. I'm just telling you right now, he likes it. This is what he likes. And we can't do anything until he comes to that self-realization that this is terrible. This is not normal. Right. But he goes, all we can do is try, and then get the relatives involved enough for them to, take the next step, whether he has to be institutionalized, whether he has to be, and continue on, a certain course of treatment that's that's agreeable to both the family and, your medical personnel.
Yeah, because the ends to that, Tim, especially when they go into, the invitation, and then they have the oppression,
yes,
and then they potentially have the possessive state. Is after that is ultimately that negativity wants the soul of the person, which in the ends of that typically is death. Which some people, I guess, that's the point is that they have nothing left to live for.
Exactly.
And that's the only thing they have is that entity.
But see, that's exactly it. And, again, I don't believe in angels, really. I don't really believe in demons. I don't believe in heaven or hell. That's not in my wheelhouse. But I do believe in hardcore negative energy and hardcore positive energy. And I believe that these these personalities, these energetic personalities can tap into that, and they can become that oppressive. And again, what they'll do is the ultimate goal is to debase the human being until it's just an animal, basically, or death. And do you know what? Even now, one of the biggest first phases of the temporal possession step that I've found is very common.
What's that?
You ready for that one? Ready for this one?
Mm-hmm.
Obsession. And guess what they're obsessed with? A lot of them are obsessed with the paranormal because they're thrilled. A lot of people, it's amazing that people will go and, I mean, they'll take I have recorders with me all the time. They'll take a recorder and they'll do EVP sessions. And I mean, I do them in my house. I don't care. You know, I mean, I'm used to this stuff. I have like scanner radios going on all the time. I mean, I've got 70 Ouija boards right over on the other side there. I've got haunted objects on the other side of my laptop here. I'm not obsessed with it. I'm not obsessed. It's a collection. That's all it is. It's just a collection. I'm not obsessed with it. But a lot of people will go and they will just become obsessed with it. And they'll keep asking questions. And it's almost like the people that will go to a psychic or a medium like on a regular basis so that they can go and get like advice, you know, or what to do. And that's when you start to surrender your common sense and your free will, that's a red flag. That's where you start running into problems.
Sure.
And that's why with me, you know, I get these messages like, you know, you're going to scream. I'm like this. Oh yeah, really? I've been doing this so long, you know, this stuff doesn't faze me. So, I mean, you have to, but there's a lot of people out there that really have been pablum fed over the years, and they are looking for that validation, you know, that they're doing the right thing. And that's not what you go to a psychic for. That really isn't. I mean, if you have something really terrible going on, crisis, that's one thing. But to be honest with you, I used to work for a radio psychic years ago. Oh my God, years ago. And I'd be over there. I'd be working on a project 3:00 in the morning. People are calling up for the lotto numbers. You know, what do you feel at the lotto? It's like, what's wrong with you? That's not what this is all about, you know. But again, I take it a little bit more spiritual, you know. And Andy, you got it right there. Welcome. Thanks to Hollywood, unfortunately. And don't get me wrong, I love TV. I'm on it. I'm on the shows. I love it. I really do. I find it interesting. I learn stuff. I get a chance to go places that I've, you know, through the TV that I've never been. I get a chance to go and get backgrounds on people I'm going to meet at the conferences so that I can talk to them and ask them different questions. But on the other hand, it's almost as if we surrender. We surrender our free will. We surrender our common sense, our own personality. I'm going to put that in your hands. And a lot of times it's because they don't want responsibility. One of the big things that we're taught as spiritualists, huge as spiritualists, is self-responsibility. And the bottom line is the buck stops with you. Your decision. Don't let anybody else make it for you. You know, as you know, when I was being tested and treated at a cancer center here, bottom line is you've got to make the decision because it's you. You don't let a doctor make the decision. You just get the facts from them and you weigh it and put it together. That's what people are missing. People are just not missing. And Robin, yeah, you know what? I had a great conversation with my buddy who's a retired bishop with the Western Rite Catholic Church, exorcist, and she wrote there are angels. For years, I would sit there and we would argue about it. He finally looked at me and goes, Tim, what do you call this? You know, finer, higher energies and that. And I said, well, I call them finer energies that spiritual personalities can use and be part of. He goes, what do you think angels are? And all of a sudden it was like, duh. One day it finally hit me. And it's all semantics. It's what you call them. Right. And to me, I think that's sweet. Again, I mean, my religion didn't teach it to me. So it's hard, the Roman Catholic did, but it didn't stick, as much as those words. And of course, I mean, we're sitting there, probably on our fourth scotch and cigar, so by that time, I think I was more receptive. But it's true. I mean, it all depends which. But yeah, Andy, I have to agree with you. Unfortunately, Hollywood really has, we have to understand a lot of it's a product. And I understand entertainment is a product. And, they work the demographics, and there's so much to it. So people have to really get back to basics. And my basics is one of one of our creed and our dogma, and the spiritualist dogma of the National Spiritual Association of Churches is, it's all our own. We make or not make our own heaven, basically our own good days, bad days, our own life, our own afterlife through our own free will. And I'm hearing somebody dancing there.
Oh, it's my dogs. They make an appearance about every show, and they are needy. Is what's happened. I've created two monsters at 11 and 13 years of age. So
my chocolate is today's my chocolate's birthday. Chocolate birthday 6.
Happy birthday! Aw. Well, I have a question for you, Tim. Of all the places that you've been, and I so much of what you were explaining resonated directly with me, both history wise and your past wise, and so many commonalities, which I truly appreciate in hearing you explain those. When you've gotten to go to these places, one question I don't think I asked you before is, has any of the places that you've been, have they been kind of hidden gems? Like if those who are, in the chat are watching the replay of you on our show tonight, is there a place that you'd say pleasantly surprised you when you investigated or went there, that maybe it would be a kind of a hidden gem type experience?
I'm a history nerd, man. I love history, as you can tell behind me. I have walked just about every Civil War battlefield on the eastern coast. I have gotten a chance. I got a chance to go into some unbelievable places. I got a chance to march in my great-great-grandfather's footsteps to Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. I have slept on battlefields. And I have to tell you one thing, that the historic places are places that just resonate so strongly to me. And here in Western New York, we have a big 1812 history here. And there's a place not too far away I'm talking 15 minutes away from my door in Lancaster, New York, called the Hull House. And there's a Victorian house on there. There is a Civil War era barn. There is an 1810 stone building on there, original stone building.
Wow.
And there's a family cemetery. And that place is unbelievable, because you walk in there, and if you're respectful, it's amazing what you can get out of that place. Wow. I mean, there was a photographer from one of the local newspapers up here, and she went up, and they were up in the attic, and the door shut on her. It was the door just shut up. She was gone. She was gone. I mean, we got something that's a little nastier in the Victorian that that I go into, and that's
just saying, if I were coming to New York State next week, which I am, maybe I could get that information from you so I could go check it out. Maybe you'd want to come along. We'd have a field trip day.
Hey, never know. I'm gonna tell you what I love. The places that I love to work here, of course, Wildwood Sanitarium in Salamanca, New York is one of my favorites. Hinsdale, I've been going up there since 2011, before Dan Kless owned it, and I love that place. It's one of those places that just still blows my mind when I go up there. It's just amazing to me. Fort Niagara doesn't have investigations, but if you want to do an investigation during the day, you pay your price, you walk in. Fort Niagara is it's an overlay archaeological site, and it is crazy amazing. I spent a lot of time up there. I spent a lot of nights in that big old stone building in there, and the stuff that I got, that's the only place I actually got pushed out of that really kind of screwed around with me. But if you want to go a little, and of course Hull House, but if you want to go a little bit further, you want to go to the birthplace of the Latter-day Saints, which is Palmyra, New York. And very close to Hill Cumorah, where Joseph Smith received the golden tablets from the angel Moroni. It's not that far away. Is a place called the Palmyra Historical Museums, and there's a place called the Phelps Grocery, I think it's called, or the Phelps General Store. And it was the last of the Phelps. She was actually a spiritualist medium. 90% of everything that's in that building is original to the building.
Wow.
And I got to tell you what, I have had such great experiences in there. And my friend Joe from Paranormal Oddities here in Depew, New York, he was there solo. And he said, "Give me a scream." He got an audible scream that he recorded. It's on he's got it actually on video. It's amazing. That place I love. I'm just gonna tell you right now, the history is great. Lockport, I'll tell you another place. Any place that's near water is crazy. A place called Art 247. It's the Western Block buildings right across from the Erie Canal. Okay. And it had a brothel in it. It was right down the street from a police station. It was bootleggers. It was a speakeasy there. It's got great stuff. Again, that's a door. I brought my buddy Sean with me, and we were doing some filming, and he was PAing for me, and he was standing right behind me. And the guy says, "Listen, I'm just going to ask for this door to open up and see what happens." And the door, he did, and the door opened up. I mean, it just went like that. Even I was a little shocked at it. I turned around, and my buddy Sean was about 6 feet away from me. So I'm not going through there right now. You guys go in there first. But I'm going to tell you, that's another place that I personally love. Nice. And then there's some cemeteries up here that I feel very warmly about, especially if you can get in at night and you can start really doing some really good hardcore work and that sort of thing. But all these places, all the historic places, so long as you're respectful, I've never had a bad time. I mean, I've gotten effed off a lot of times. Big deal, I mean, hey, Keith worked with the public. I worked for 34 and a half years for a highway department. I got effed off about 12 times a day. Now, maybe before lunch, So, I mean, you get that and you start laughing about it.
Right.
But, I mean, a lot of times, you get that. But I mean, if you are a genuinely nice person, you never run into any of these places are really bad. I think when you get the people that are really in there poking the devil, doing hardcore provoking, getting out there and yelling at it and trying to make themselves like, I'm the hard guy here, you're nothing and all this other, that's where you run into problems. That's when you run into a lot of problems. But if you have respect, you don't have a problem with it. I mean, that's something I try to tell people. I can be forceful if I'm in a location and I think it's negative, I'll be forceful to try to get to the bottom of the situation. Forceful and being provoking are two different things.
Right.
But I mean, if you start doing provoking, you're coming in from a bad attitude. Really, it's terrible. Robin, infrasound. I love infrasound. That is like my next course of study because I think that is going to be that's the Wild West of the paranormal now. And and Peg, is the Dunkirk Lighthouse haunted? Absolutely. In Dunkirk, New York, there's a lighthouse. And yeah, absolutely. And what's neat about it is, how we talk about objects and how they hold energy. They have a beautiful military museum there, absolutely gorgeous museum there. And I'm going to tell you what, that stuff holds some really awesome energy, some beautiful hardcore energy. And last time I was up there, we got some great squawk box responses that were just great. And it's a beautiful place, and it's in, of course it's on the lake, and you're not that far from some nice restaurants that literally down the road, and I mean it's
so basically I'm going to be sending you a private message later asking for an extensive list of all of these places, and then I'm going to be sending my hotel reservation and just camping out in New York State for a few days.
Wouldn't be the first time. Let me know. Let me know after this week, because this is I end Friday my official season before we go back and start filming again, and we're just going to go and come on up and we'll listen. I'll take you to a good Italian restaurant.
I love it. I'll give
you the 50-cent tour of.
I did. Did we answer? Did Bob? Did we get his Bob's question answered?
What do we got here, Bob?
No, Bob asks where he believes. Where do we, the three of us, believe that spirits live? Ultrasound or higher frequencies, or infrasound and lower frequencies? I mention these two areas because there's two places we cannot reside, see, or hear. What are your thoughts? Maybe time.
Bob, I agree with you 100%. We don't exactly know. I believe everything is vibrational in nature. Years ago, in a guided meditation in one of my classes at the church, we were asked to go in meditation to find what is what they call the summerland. That's like, I guess the best way I can describe that is as like the spiritualist, where you go after you pass away, and after you change your body. And all these people came back and they're talking about Norse this and huge oak trees and all this stuff. And you know what I got? I got an oscilloscope. So it made perfect sense to me that we are made up of vibrations. We are right now. And when we pass, those vibrations stay in a higher frequency. I believe that wholeheartedly, in a higher frequency of love and as goodness, goodness and comfort as possibly we can. And then we get to a point, and I believe in reincarnation. So I'm hoping that I'm done reincarnating. I'm done, and I think that at that point, when the very end of what we do is when we lose our personality and lose our ego, and then we become one with everything. And usually that comes after, a few generations, when your name is what I call is forgotten. Grandkids are, great grandkids. Maybe once in a while, somebody will find you on ancestry.com, by accident. But, I firmly believe that, we are in that. And I'll tell you what, infrasound, that is crazy, because I was watching a special on that where they were talking about animals and how that works. And I was talking to a friend of mine who's a Bigfoot guy, and he truly believes in it. And so what I'm doing now is I met a college student who was really, she's into infrasound. So she's been like, every so often she drops me a line saying, "Hey, Tim, this is what, maybe what's going on. Maybe this might help you think about it." Because again, I believe in using, I still use white noise. I still use different frequency pitches. I use, tuning forks. I use all of that for healing, but I also use it for paranormal work. And to me, it seems that it pulls it in more. So I believe that it's all within that realm of vibration and frequency.
Yeah. So he follows up with, is that where the term higher place comes from? So
higher place, it was disco. That's where it came from. That's where it comes. That's where it's higher place. That's where it all came from. No, I don't know where the term came from, but I do believe we're marked for something better than what we, let ourselves, be. Yeah. I think I really do. I think at the end, everybody looks. I believe that the visual of heaven is man-made, and I feel that there is something about there. I believe that there's an ultimate creator. There's no doubt in my mind. It's intelligent. There's some crazy intelligence going on around us, but I do believe that at the end of the rainbow, we lose everything, and I think that's probably the highest. That's probably the highest, highest aspect of what we do that we can find. Hey, Flip, thank you, buddy. You're listen. You're not only a scholar, but you're handsome too.
He knows. Aw. Well, thank you so much, Tim. Can everyone who's tuning in or watching the replay, can they find you in your next venture online someplace?
Well,
that you can share?
I am. The best way to find me is I'm always on Facebook. I'm a Facebook junkie, so I'm always, if I'm not putting up my adventures, I'm taking pictures of my feet because it upsets my former coworkers because they're all still working. So I take pictures of my feet saying, "Listen, these dogs ain't out there in work boots no more." So, but yeah, you can find me on Facebook. But I do have a website. Excuse me, a website, www.timothytshaw.com.
Okay.
And that's got all my information on it. And the Black Cat Lounge, Tuesday nights normally. Tomorrow I have a pop-up reading night, but normally Tuesday nights at 7 p.m. And I'm right on Facebook, you know.
Okay, I was going to say, so they can find that link on Facebook too.
Yeah,
okay.
and I mean, I'm on, YouTube and all that other stuff,
Awesome.
America's Keith Bailey most wanted,
Right. It's disco lights. That's all it is. Searchlights. Aw. Well, thank you so much, Tim. It was so good chatting with you. And do you have a moment to wait backstage until we wrap
I'm good,
up?
Thanks,
baby.
Tim.
I'm good.
Okay. All right.
Listen, I'm good. I'm gonna wait a minute. I have to ask. I'm gonna ask the spirits if it's okay if I wait around.
There you go.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll talk to you in a few minutes. You okay there, buddy? With your lights? Are you there?
Oh,
We can hear you with the sound. Yeah, it's cutting in and out a little bit. So we'll wrap up. But thank you all for joining us in the chat.
well, a very
Please
fun
stay
show.
tuned. Yeah, and please stay tuned because Keith and I, can I tell them what we're going to do, please? Silence means I can tell them, right? So what we're going to do is when we go to the Warrens Paracon this weekend, we're going to do some surprise lives that will show up not only on our Facebook page, but also on YouTube. So make sure that you have the alerts from the page that you can see, like those pages, so you can see when we go live. But we're going to pull in some special guests that we did not get to have on the show before, as well as some that maybe will make a return visit that we can pull and chat with while we're there. So they're just kind of going to be like mini segments, but pull as many people as we can. So make sure that you keep watching the pages for the lives and pack your Halloween costume, buddy. Or some fun snacks or something. I like chocolate things. So we'll have to pack all your goodies for Halloween. And if anyone in our chat is going to come to the Warren Seekers of Supernatural Paracon, we look forward to seeing you. Otherwise, stay tuned for our lives while we're there. And are you here, or did we lose you, Keith? Nope. Well, we may have lost him. So everybody, it was great to have you all in the chat. Hopefully we will see you again soon. We'll be back in 2 weeks after the Paracon with all the good stuff that we've gathered from there, and look forward to seeing you all soon. So have a great evening, and we'll see you in 2 weeks. Make sure to watch for our surprise lives. Good night, everybody.